Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're doing a tutorial on a Queen of Hearts inspired look. So if you want to see my interpretation of the Queen of Hearts, just keep watching. So I just outlined my heart. You don't really have to do this first. I just think it's going to be more appealing for the TikToks, but I always use a Morphe color pencil in coconut. It's super easy to wipe away and it blends in really well with the colors when I add it on top of it later. Just did this eye and I did not like it at all. It was way too pink, so I just wiped it off and I'm gonna retry. I primed my eyes with the P. Louise base and now I'm gonna go into my Beauty Bay Bright Matte palette into this shade Head Over Heels. First, I pack on the color with a brush like this M321, which is a little bit of a bigger, fluffier pencil brush. And then I like to blend it out with a really small blending brush. This is the M506. Once I get really nice diffused edges, I'll go in and I'll pack on my next color, which will be from the same palette, and it's the shade Hot Stuff. Now I'm just using a Q-tip with some micellar water to cut out the very middle of it for a halo eye. And then just adding a tiny bit more of that P. Louise base right to the center of the eye. Now I'm going into the Beauty Bay and Mmmmitchell palette with the shade Muffin, and I'm gonna put that right on the center of the lid. Now I'm taking Michelle and I'm just gonna pack that right next to Muffin on either side. Going back in with Head Over Heels just to blend together the shimmer and the mattes. Now I'm gonna prime with the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. Just trying to avoid this outline. I'm using a little bit of the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer just to fill in my pores. Now I'm taking the L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear. The shade's a tiny bit too dark for me though, so I'm using a little bit of the LA Girl Pro Mixing Pigment in white, which just lightens up your foundation. This stuff is a lifesaver because especially during COVID and quarantine, I am so white that like none of my foundations match me. And this is only like $8, I think. And it's amazing because it makes every single one of my foundations match me, even in my ghostly state. I'm just taking about 2 pumps of the foundation on the back of my hand and mixing in about half of a pump of the white. Oh, I forgot I'm only doing my face. I didn't need to do 2 full pumps. Whoops. Or like the inside of the heart. Now I'm using some Tarte Shape Tape to brighten. I just used a little bit to conceal, but I was filming a TikTok and I really didn't want my concealer to sit there for that long. The other shade was a little bit more similar to my skin tone, and this one is brighter. Just putting that anywhere I need it. I have such a problem with stuff sticking to my nose. It's gotten a lot better. Foundation and concealer and everything used to break up really bad, but now it just kind of stays on the sponge and not on my nose. Does anybody else have any problems with that? Have you tried anything? I used to do the whole eyeshadow primer on your nose before foundation. That did not work, and it just made me very oily and broke me out on my nose. I swear I've tried so many different combinations of primers and foundations, and I usually just have to put concealer on my whole nose. Just contouring, even though you will barely be able to see it. This is Colourpop's Super Shock Cheek. That's such a tongue twister. In Spoon? Yes. Just popping a tiny bit of that on the tip of the nose and taking a little bit and adding it to my cheeks. Oh, I forgot to bronze and add blush. I don't know what I'm doing over here. Let's get back this outline, and I'm using some micellar water and a Q-tip. I'm using a little bit of the NYX Matte Finish Spray. Just to tastes horrible. Just to set my face and keep it matte. Tastes like what I imagine the white squeezy glue that you use in like elementary school. That's what I imagine it would taste like. Not my favorite. A huge tip if you like to do soap brows after your foundation, which I've started recently and I absolutely love, take a Q-tip and run it over your eyebrow. It makes your eyebrow less gray. Now I take my Glossier Brow Flick and fill in some of the hairs in like the last half of the eyebrow. And then for the front half, I've been liking going back with a eyebrow pencil and just adding the faintest amount of color to the front to give it a little bit more definition, but not as much as the Brow Flick gives me. Now I'm just gonna bring the same shades underneath my eye. Oh, I forgot I was gonna have red brows. We'll deal with that later, not right now. For the outside of my face, I want a white base, so I'm gonna be using the same thing I used earlier with my foundation, the LA Girl Foundation Mixing Pigment in white. And I'm just gonna do a layer of that and then set it. I always slump when I'm sitting, or when I'm filming. I need to sit up. For the outside, I want it to look like the back of a card. So I'm gonna add some of the red line work using the Mehron Water Activated Paints palette and this little bit darker red shade right there. I'm on to my third coffee of the day. We got an espresso as soon as like COVID started happening, when all the coffee shops and everything were closed, and it is like the best decision I've ever made. I would rather drink an espresso over like a Starbucks or a Dutch Bros or anything. Coffee rant over. Also, if you notice that I'm pretty much wearing the same thing in every outfit, that's because I am. I basically have like a uniform when I do makeup, just like simple strappy tops. They're easy to take down. If I paint my shoulders, I wear a zip up hoodie, and so I'm not having to take it on and off. I'm just pretty much always gonna be wearing the same thing. Time to make my neck white. Oh man, this is gonna take me all night. You can tell how late it's getting by how much I just stop caring about the details. Like, my lines get a little jagged. I get delirious when I'm tired. Like, there are some people where they're tired and they can still function and their brain doesn't completely stop working. I'm not one of those people. My brain just checks out and I'm stuck to fend for myself without a brain. When I have makeup on my face and I know it's a creative look, I do alter my facial expressions. Like, if you ever see me kind of like creepily laugh in the video, but I don't really smile, like I'm just like, that's because I don't want to crease my smile lines. Like that, what I just did. Let's do Creeper, Colourpop Creeper. I decided I'm going to use the super long Eldora lashes. These are in B801. I'm using some of the Colourpop white mascara. I know that sometimes this is sold out, so you could also use like a lash primer. These lashes look so intense, but they're actually the lightest lashes I think I've ever worn. I can't ever believe how much difference. What? I'm not making any sense. I can never believe how big of a difference a wig makes. Like, are you kidding me? Who is she? I don't know, but I love her. I love it so much. I'm obsessed with how this turned out. If you're interested in any of the products that I've used, I will link them all below in the description box. And if you do recreate this, please tag me. I love seeing your guys' recreation. Subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching. It means the world to me. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I will see you next time. Bye. Oh, I just stabbed myself in the eye. Ah. It's the strangest things, because it's happening. Man, need to make you up, huh? Make you spend, huh? Make it work hard, burner. Do you get it? Like, paint the roses red.